Salem may be waking up from Halloween night, but the chaos isn't done with them yet. Monday's episode of Days of Our Lives picks up right where the madness left off, with a shocking twist that mixes heartbreak, danger, and redemption all in one explosive hour. From a knife-wielding stranger to a heartbreaking goodbye between Leo, Javi, and baby Tesoro, this episode isn't just about tricks or treats. It's about truth, the kind that changes lives forever. Who survives the madness? Who walks away broken? And whose secret schemes are finally exposed in the harsh light of day? Let's break it all down, moment by moment, as Salem faces the fallout of Halloween's darkest surprises. For Johnny and Chanel, the road to parenthood has been a marathon of heartbreak. Every meeting, every form, every hopeful phone call seemed to end in the same quiet disappointment. They tried to stay strong, smiling for each other, convincing themselves that someday, somehow, the universe would open one more door. And finally, it does. Monday's episode brings a rare moment of grace to Salem. After endless red tape and restless nights, the call comes through. Tesoro has found his forever home. The moment Johnny and Chanel hear their names, everything stops. Chanel's hands tremble as she covers her mouth. Johnny's eyes fill with disbelief. This isn't a dream, it's real. They're the ones. As they cradle the news like fragile glass, the camera lingers, showing pure joy edged with tears. They laugh, cry, and hold each other, knowing that this child will finally have the love he deserves. But miracles in Salem never arrive without heartbreak. Across the room, Leo and Javi stand still, their smiles brave but breaking. They've loved Tesoro like their own, and now, it's time to say goodbye. Their farewell promises to be one of the most emotional scenes of the week, raw, painful, and deeply human. Because in Days of Our Lives, love doesn't vanish when you let go. It simply changes shape, and sometimes, that's the hardest kind of love to live with. While Salem celebrates new beginnings, another story unfolds in quiet devastation. Aaron Green sits alone at a worn wooden table, the adoption papers spread before him like a mirror reflecting his own failure. He's rehearsed this moment 1,000 times, the signature, the breath, the release. But now that it's real, the pen feels impossibly heavy. Each stroke of ink severs a bond that can never be fully broken. Tesoro is his son, his blood, yet he knows he cannot give him the life he deserves. The guilt is suffocating, equal parts love and surrender. When he finally signs, the silence that follows is unbearable. He stares at his name, blurred by tears, whispering a promise that the boy will never hear. I'm doing this for you. That's when Kat appears. She doesn't speak at first. She just sits beside him, the air between them thick with unspoken grief. And then, with the calm strength only she possesses, she reminds him that love isn't measured by possession, it's measured by sacrifice. Her words hit deep, but they also foreshadow what's coming. Because while Kat is busy helping someone else heal, she doesn't realize danger is already circling her. By the end of the hour, she'll be standing in Salem Square, unaware that her own life is seconds away from the edge. The town square is alive with laughter, twinkling lights, paper bats fluttering in the night air, the last whispers of Halloween echoing through the crowd. Children run past with candy bags, couples sip cider under the decorations, and for a moment, it feels like Salem is finally at peace. But beneath that noise, danger moves, silent, deliberate, and disguised. A figure drifts through the crowd, face hidden by a mad scientist mask, identical to the one Jeremy Horton's been wearing all week. No one pays attention, until the metallic glint catches the light. The stranger raises a knife. Target: Alex Kuriakis. Time slows. A single scream pierces the night. People scatter as the blade flashes under the festival lights. And then, chaos collides with chaos. A thunk, followed by a wild whoosh, as a pumpkin rockets through the air from the pumpkin chucker that Rachel and Thomas had rigged. It's supposed to be a prank. A joke. A splash of mischief. Instead, it becomes the unlikeliest lifesaver. Kat, standing in the path of the knife, ducks instinctively to avoid the flying pumpkin. Alex sees it all unfold in an instant. He lunges, shouting, "Watch out!" slamming into her, sending her tumbling into Chad Demara's arms. The blade slices through empty air, inches from where her heart had been. For one breathless second, the square falls silent, and then chaos reignites. Screams. Running. The masked figure vanishes into the crowd, leaving behind confusion, fear, and the chilling question: who wanted Alex dead, and why? And this is where everything comes crashing down. The laughter fades, the smoke clears, and suddenly, the so-called pumpkin prank becomes something much darker. Rachel Black and Thomas Demara stand frozen, faces pale under the flickering festival lights, as the adults finally piece together what really happened. The flying pumpkin wasn't some harmless joke. It could have killed someone. The scene is chaos. Voices raised, accusations thrown, parents trying to make sense of how two children could come so close to disaster. Rachel stays defiant at first, chin up, eyes fierce, the spitting image of her parents' cunning confidence. She insists it was just fun, that no one was supposed to get hurt. But the tremor in her voice betrays her. Thomas, meanwhile, can't even look at his father. His guilt shows in every glance, every nervous breath. He didn't plan this, he only followed Rachel's lead, and now the weight of that choice crushes him. When Chad confronts him, the anger in his voice breaks under fear. Because deep down, it isn't punishment he's thinking about, it's the nightmare of almost losing Kat, again. And as Rachel is led away by her furious family, she glances back at Thomas, her expression unreadable, part regret, part challenge. Whatever spark she lit tonight, it's far from over. But even as the truth about the prank surfaces, another mystery tightens its grip on Salem. The figure in the mad scientist costume, the one who almost stabbed Alex, has vanished without a trace. Only the echo of screams and the glimmer of that knife remain. Alex, shaken and furious, demands answers. His adrenaline-fueled voice cuts through the confusion as he points the finger squarely at Jeremy Horton. Who else could it be, he argues. He's been wearing that costume all week. The crowd murmurs, tension building like a storm about to break. But something doesn't add up. Jeremy's shock looks real. His confusion, raw. Could Salem be witnessing another frame job? Another perfectly orchestrated illusion to set one man up while the real threat slips away unseen? The possibilities are endless and terrifying. Because in this town, masks aren't just for Halloween. They're for survival. As police sirens wail in the distance, the camera pans over Salem Square, flashing red and blue lights reflecting off shattered decorations. No one sees the shadow slipping into the alley, the faint metallic glint of a knife disappearing into darkness. The game isn't over. It's only just begun. By the time the night ends, Salem feels forever changed. Chanel and Johnny finally hold their son, basking in the glow of a hard-won miracle, unaware that somewhere, fate is quietly rewriting their story. Their joy is pure, but fragile. Leo and Javi watch from afar, hands clasped tightly as they say their final goodbye to Little T. Their love for him may never fade, but their chapter in his life closes tonight. Aaron sits alone, the adoption papers beside him, the silence heavy with what he's lost, and what he's given. And Kat, still trembling from her brush with death, tries to smile through the shock. She doesn't yet realize that the knife may not have been random, and that someone might still be watching. Meanwhile, Thomas and Rachel face the consequences of their choices, two children standing at the edge of lessons they're too young to understand. As the town quiets and the moon rises above the square, one truth lingers. The monsters of Salem don't live under beds or behind masks. They live inside hearts, waiting, watching, ready to strike again. So, who was behind the mask that night? Is Jeremy Horton the villain everyone thinks, or a pawn in a much darker game? And did someone orchestrate Kat's near death for a reason we haven't seen yet? Comment your theories below, and stay tuned. Because in Days of Our Lives, the nightmare never truly ends.